Leonardo Da Vinci, Salvator Mundi, the painting that watches us. Some paintings are simply admired. You look at them and you appreciate them and then you move on. But some paintings refuse to let you live because at a certain moment you stop looking at the painting and it begins looking back at you. Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi is one of those paintings. The first time standing before it, the price didn't come to mind, nor did the debates over its attribution. Instead, something far stranger happened. It felt as a tough figure that had remained silent for more than 5 centuries might quietly step out of its frame. That feeling is difficult to describe because it's unsettling, yet strangely comforting. Perhaps great art has always lived between those two emotions. It comforts us while gently reminding us how little we truly understand. Let's move a little closer. The eyes are often the first thing people notice. They are neither severe or entirely gentle. They don't seem to judge. It's very soft. The eyebrows are very smooth. And they simply wait. And perhaps our first questions begins there. Why does a face painted over 500 years ago and still feel alive? Maybe the answer isn't hidden in the paint. Maybe it lives somewhere inside us. Human beings have always searched for another face looking back. Across centuries, that instinct has never disappeared. Then there's the raised hand. It's very strange. Usually, art historians generally identify it as a traditional gesture of blessing. However, that interpretation is well established. But every time we return to this painting, another possibly quietly appears. This hand does not command. It does not threaten. It almost seems to whisper, "Do not be afraid." Perhaps some gestures belong to humanity before they belong to religion. Perhaps the reassurance has always had the same shape. The other hand holds a transparent crystal sphere. It is commonly understood as a symbol of the world, yet Leonardo knew optics remarkably well. A crystal sphere should distort whatever lies behind it. Here, it doesn't. Was this intention? Was this intentional by Leonardo? Was it symbolic? Or was Leonardo inviting us to look beyond the scientific accuracy? No one knows for certain, and perhaps certainty isn't the point. Great paintings rarely hand us answers. They leave us with better questions. Maybe this sphere is the world. Maybe it is the knowledge. Maybe the responsibility. Or perhaps every generation quietly places its own world inside it. Now, notice the darkness. It's unbelievable. No landscape. Usually, Leonardo da Vinci draws architecture or cloudy sky or an ocean, but there is no horizon, only silence. That absence feels almost timeless. There's nothing to tell us where we are or when we are, which means this encounter could happen anywhere, even today. So perhaps that is why the painting never truly grows old. It was never painting for 1 century, of course. Obviously, it was painted for every century. Another question quietly appears. The Renaissance was transforming Europe. Science was awakening, perspective was changing the way people saw the world, human anatomy was becoming a subject of careful observation, curiosity was replacing certainty. So, why would Leonardo choose this subject? Why he is returning to Christ? At the very moment humanity was beginning to celebrate the reason. Perhaps he wasn't simply painting Christ. Perhaps he was painting the question that reason alone could never answer. Science can explain how the universe works. Art asks why we continue searching for meaning within it. That is why Salvator Mundi no longer belongs only to Christianity. A Christian may stand before it. A Muslim may stand before it. A Buddhist, an atheist, someone with no religion at all, because beyond the theology, there is something deeply human taking place here. The desire to understand, the hope that life carries meaning, the quiet search for something greater than ourselves, maybe in our crystal sphere or maybe in our hands. So those questions belong to no single faith. They belong to humanity. Imagine this painting hanging quietly in a gallery today. Some visitors will speak about its extraordinary price or this is wonderful piece of artwork. Others will debate whether Leonardo painted every part of it itself, himself. Many will take a photograph or continue to walking, but somewhere in the room, someone will simply remain still. Sometimes great works of art reveal themselves only to those willing to wait, like an old friend. They never tell us everything during the first conversation, and perhaps that is why masterpieces never truly change. We do. Every reason of life allow us to see them differently. The painting remains silent, yet somehow it voices that keeps changing. Perhaps Leonardo was never trying to show us only the face of Christ. Perhaps he was quietly placing a mirror before humanity and asking one simple question: what is it that you are truly trying to save? Maybe this is where Radio Gallery begins, not by searching for definitive answers, but by learning how to ask better questions, because great art does not simply decorate walls, it quietly accompanies the human experience. Welcome to Radio Gallery, where we don't search for certainty, we search for conversation that continue long after the painting is gone. Until the next story.